Alright, so for 25, we look for a GCF, and in this case, we have f of x is x squared as the GCF, so then when you factor that out, you get x squared plus 12x plus 27, and you have a quadratic, right? So factors of 27 that add up to 12, 9 times 3. So then it's x squared equals x plus 9 times x plus 3. So the real zeros are 0 with a multiplicity of 2 because the power here is 2. So multiplicity of 2, and then negative 9 and negative 3, each with multiplicity of 1. Multiplicity, couldn't spell, of 1. And that's it. Okay, so I set up number 26. Notice how we have to add a 0x cubed and a 0x because those are missing powers of the polynomial. So we look at the leading term, which is this one right here and this one right here. So x squared times what gives you x squared? So that's what we write up here. And so we multiply the x squared with the divisor. So that's x to the 4th plus x cubed minus 4x squared. And now we subtract. So remember, when you subtract, you add the opposite. So that's minus, that plus becomes a minus, and then the minus here becomes a plus. Combine your two rows, so this is 0. Then 0 minus 1 is negative x cubed. And then 4x squared minus 4x squared, that's 0. And then bring down the the 0x minus 2. And then you ask yourself, okay, x squared times what gives you negative x cubed, the leading term? So that's going to be negative x. So you multiply negative x cubed, minus x squared plus 4x. We're subtracting, so we add the opposite. So this becomes plus, and then this one becomes minus. This is 0. Then 0 plus 1 is x squared. I'm sorry, there's nothing up there, right? So just x squared. 0x minus 4x is negative 4x, then minus 2. And so now I check here. X squared times what gives me x squared? That's 1. So I get x squared plus x minus 4. We subtract, so that changes this sign to a negative and this one to a positive. This is 0, negative 5x. 4 minus 2 is 2. So this is the remainder right here. So you write your answer, x squared minus x plus 1. Now you could put plus negative 5x plus 2 like this, or minus, but then you have to factor out a negative from the numerator, so you put that minus there, 5x minus 2. You have to be careful to do that. If you just put minus here and leave this plus, you're not going to get full credit because the answer is not the same. So any of these is fine. Okay, so you could either write your answer like this or like this. So for number 27, the first thing you have to do is put the polynomial, the dividend, in standard form, and then you could set up your synthetic division. Okay, so I did that right here. I put the polynomial in standard form, so now I'm ready to divide. So you bring down the 5. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 minus 18 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Negative 11 plus 8 is negative 3. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12, so the remainder is 0. So all it said was to divide, so my answer would be 5x squared plus 2x minus 3. Remember, this is the remainder. This is x to the 0, x1, x2. You go backwards on the x's. And that would be this. Alright, so for number 28, we have to add a placeholder there because notice in the dividend there is no x squared. This is the x cubed, the negative 27x, and the 54 constant. Okay? So you always have to have placeholders if you're missing one of the powers, one of the terms. So again, you bring down the 1. 1 times 3 is 3. You add, you get a 3. 3 times 3 is 9. And then this is negative, what, 18? And then this is negative 54. And so you get 0. So this one is x squared plus 3x minus 18. And that's the quotient. Okay, so you're told that negative 4 is a root. So it's a 0. Remember, root is another word for 0 of the polynomial. So find the other real zeros. So we're setting this up for synthetic division because when they give you the 0, you can set it up like that. So you have 1, negative 4, 1, negative 4, negative 20, and then this gives you 80. So that's 0. So this means x squared plus x minus 20. Factors of negative 20 that add up to positive 1 are 5 times negative 4. So then you get x plus 5 times x minus 4. So those are the other two factors. So then the other zeros, so the question is, what are the other real zeros? So that's negative 5 and positive 4. Alright, so I cannot use synthetic division on this one, even though they did give me a 0, a root, radical 6, so I cannot use it because synthetic division does not work with irrational numbers. So my only other option is to set it up like this. So if I know that radical 6 is a 0, then I know that this is a factor. And if radical 6 is a 0, then I know that negative radical 6 is also a 0. So this would be the other factor. When I multiply this together, I get x squared minus 6. So now I'm going to use long division and divide. This is my divisor, and my quotient is right here, right? So x squared minus 6, and so it's x cubed plus 5x squared minus 6x minus 30. X squared into x cubed is x. So I get x cubed right there minus 6x, so that's going to go right here. And then remember, you do the opposite. So this is minus and this is plus. That's 0, and that happens to be 0. So 5x squared minus 30. So x squared times what gives you 5x squared? That's 5. 5x squared minus 30, we're subtracting, so that's a minus and that's a plus, so that's 0, 0, remainder 0, so here's the other factor. So then the other real zeros, again, I mentioned the other one first, negative radical 6 at the beginning, and then negative 5 right here for this factor right here. So those are the other real zeros.